It'd be quite natural from reading the Yoga Vasistha to get the impression, or to form the notion, that consciousness is some kind of abode of supreme peace, of bliss even. It's not like that at all. Consciousness is voracious. It's constantly striving to fill itself. It's doing it with a force that is more powerful than the most cosmic forces you could imagine. The black holes spring to mind. They suck everything in with such a force that not even light can escape from them. Although apparently there are some things which can get out. If you can imagine such cosmic forces, then they dwarf into insignificance at the power of consciousness. Such forces as black holes, as supernova, and all the rest of it actually appear within consciousness. They're a tiny part of consciousness. So consciousness is voracious. It's voracious in the sense that it's continually trying to fill itself. But not only that, it strongly identifies with what it's filling itself with. It clamps on to the objects that arise within it, to the notions that arise within it. And this is an experience we can all relate to, I'm sure. Whatever we think we perceive, we identify with it. We make stories about everything. If you walk into a room full of strangers and you get a chance to have a good look around, you'll form a notion and an opinion of everybody in that room. You'll make a story. And you'll have a story about your stories. Maybe you'll try to fit whatever further information comes along into your initial stories. Or perhaps you'll adjust your story about each person in the light of further information. So we've got stories about stories. This is going on moment to moment. Our situation's changing. Maybe people are coming and going. Maybe even if we're by ourselves, the situation within our body, within our mind is changing moment to moment. There are so many rhythms going on. We dance to these rhythms. Some of the things we dance to we might consider real, some we might consider unreal. We might be taking our cue from what we describe as our outer environment, or we might be getting caught up in some daydream or some plan, a memory, a hope. That's what we're identifying with moment to moment. We're constantly adjusting, constantly playing with our stories. It's like a night of dreams. We have one dream. Maybe we dream with the boss of the company. And then in the very next minute we might dream that we're a young child or an animal. All in the span of one night. We'll identify with each dream as it comes along. So this is our situation. We quite clearly dismiss dreams or categorize dreams as not real. But the same mechanism that creates dreams is creating perception in the so-called real world. It's all happening within the mind. The mind creates form, it creates colour, it creates sensations. It's all happening. Some of these we'll call dream, some of them we'll call being awake. The dreamer dreams of a village which occupies his mind, in which he lives for the time being. A little later he dreams of another situation, and he thinks he lives there. Even so, the jiva goes from one body to another. The body is but the reflection of the notion entertained by the jiva. The jiva is the individual, it's me, it's you, and we have notions about having a body, or identifying with the body, even though the body's pretty much independent of us. We have this notion of a body, and we entertain it, and we ascribe more and more reality to it. The unreal body alone dies, and it is the unreal that is born again, apparently, in another body. It's talking here, of course, about reincarnation, but our body's changing all the time. The body I'm identifying with now is completely different to the body I identified when I was a 10-year-old. What's the connection between the two? There's an apparent connection in time. But I will also identify with the bodies in dreams. Whatever body I find myself in a dream, I will identify with it. So, why should this process of identification stop with my death? Why should it not just be carrying on? This process of identification will find another body to identify with. It won't be me that's doing the identification, it's just identification. Consciousness identifying with a body. In this sense, we're all incarnations of each other. We're all consciousness, which is homogeneous, identifying with the notion of having a body. Just as in the dream, one experiences things seen and unseen, even so in the dream of the jiva, it experiences the world and even sees what is to come in the future. So we experience the world, and we've got what we call an inner world as well, world of imagination and thoughts, and also the world of dreams when we're asleep. There seems to be a hint at the possibility of clairvoyance here, perhaps in dreams. And if you do record your dreams, you might find there actually are some clairvoyant elements. This kind of thing was outlined by J.W. Dunn in an experiment with time back in 1929, although perhaps this sort of thing is well known in the East. But whatever. We're just showing that notions of past, present and future are just as unfixed and as unconcrete as any other notion.